Hello, scholars. Today's manuscript spotlight is on the Sinai Codex, a Greek Old and New Testament codex written in the mid-300s AD. It most likely originally contained the entire Old and New Testament, along with some apocryphal books, but some portions of the Old Testament have been lost. It's the oldest manuscript with a complete New Testament that has survived to the present day, making it incredibly significant. And today, we're going to be reading it. Scans of the entire Sinai Codex are available for free online. I've included links in the description. Before I start reading, I want to make two quick notes. First, the Greek script used in the manuscript might be different from what you're used to if you've been reading Greek written in a modern script. The Sinai Codex is written in Biblical Uncial style script, which you can see here. The main differences to watch out for between this style script and the modern Greek uppercase alphabet are lambda, chi, sigma, and omega, which are similar to their equivalent in modern Greek lowercase. The second note is that this codex is written in scriptio continua, meaning that you won't see any spaces between words in this manuscript. This can be quite intimidating to read at first, and it's easy to get lost, so just take your time and enjoy the read. I also find it can help to use a pen or highlighter to keep track of what you're reading. The Sinai Codex contains the earliest complete copy of Mark, so I figured I would start by doing the reading from there. You'll see at the top we have a kata markon, that is according to Mark, meaning this is Mark's Gospel, the Gospel according to Mark. And now for the text of our manuscript. You'll see on the left that I've put a box around the first verse of our manuscript, and that's all I'll be focusing on for right now. So let's read. Arche to Euagelio Jesu Christo. And for our translation, we have the beginning, Arche, of the Gospel, to Euagelio, of Jesus Christ, Jesu Christo. One change you might have noticed if you were following along with our manuscript is that in the received Greek text and translated text we have Jesus Christ, Jesu Christo. But in the manuscript we only have an iota upsilon and a chi upsilon with a bar over them. These are known as nomina sacra, sacred names, and they're just abbreviations of commonly used names that appear frequently throughout the Sinai Codex and other ancient manuscripts. There's something to be on the lookout for as you're reading this manuscript and can be easily identified by a bar over the abbreviated letters. Another obvious difference between the Sinai Codex and the received Greek text is this Weu Theo, the Son of God, in brackets. Whether or not this is original is a complex topic, and I'm not going to cover it today, but maybe in a future video I will. For now, I'll leave it at that this phrase is omitted from Mark 1 in the Sinai Codex. There are a few small notes I want to make before we move on from this passage. First off, you'll see here, ego apostolo, I send. You might notice if you pull up the Greek text for this passage that it doesn't have the ego. And that's because apostolo is a first-person conjugation, so the ego can be omitted without change to the meaning of the text. This is something to keep in mind as you're reading this manuscript and other ancient manuscripts, that there might be minor variations like this that don't ultimately affect the meaning of the text. For my final comment on this section, I'm going to pick up in verse 2. Kathos geglaptai en to isia, as it is written in Isaiah. Again, if you were reading along, you might notice that Isaiah looks like it's missing a sigma. It's not. The sigma is just very small, right here. There's another small letter in this portion. This time it's an omicron, in mo. Small letters like this occur frequently throughout the Sinai Codex and can easily trip you up if you aren't looking out for them. For my final reading in the Sinai Codex, I have decided to read from Esther. Esther is the first complete book that survives in the Sinai Codex. Everything before that is fragmentary. Esther is also interesting because the version preserved here is the Septuagint version of Esther, which contains 6 additional chapters that are not in the Hebrew manuscripts and are generally accepted not to be original. If you haven't done so already, I highly recommend reading the Apocrypha and early Christian works, such as the Epistle of Barnabas and the Shepherd of Hermas, which are both included in the Sinai Codex. These works are both interesting and give valuable insight into Jewish and early Christian thought. I'm going to be picking up in Esther 4:14, where Mordecai is persuading Esther to help foil Haman's plot to destroy the Jews. The manuscript reads, Hos hati ean percuses in toto Tokhairo, alothe boethia, kai skepe estai tois Judaios, su de kai ha oikos, to patros, su apolesthai, kai tis oidein, eis ton kairon tuto basileusas. And now for the translation. Because even if you keep silent, hos hati ean perakouses, at this time, en tuto to kairo, from elsewhere help and protection, alothe boethia kai skepe, will come to the Judeans, estai tois Iudaios, but you and your father's family will perish, su de kai hoikos tu patros su apolesthai, which more literally could be, you and the house of your father will perish. Continue on. And who knows? Kai tis oidein, if for this time, eis ton kairon tuto, you were made queen, basileusas. I hope you've enjoyed this very brief examination of the Sinai Codex. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, and I'll see you again on the next Manuscript Spotlight.